This is college football at its absolute best.
Yeah, they had us the first half, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, could be Wayne.
I think I got my swagger back. Oh.
I love it, baby.
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins. By Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch. Ball hit high in the air into right field. Going back is Sayre. And Tennessee can say hello, win column. A grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. You can't draw it up any better.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now. It's McGrath for the win.
He got it.
If you don't like college football and you watch this one, I'm not sure what your problem is.
Reddit did to do, and welcome into More Important Issues. It is Thursday, August 3rd. The Tennessee Volunteers are now 4-0. I can't remember how many games to rewatch, and just beat Florida for the first time in 6 years, I believe. So welcome to our 2022 rewatch. Of course, fall camp, but real football is, I guess real football's here. We get excited for it. I hope you guys are too. So we're going to talk a little fall camp too. Don't worry.
Yeah, fall camp is here. For, I guess, college players, fall camp sucks. If we're being honest, fall camp absolutely sucks. But it is kind of where you separate the guys from the boys. And, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to see the freshmen. I mean, that's always a big talking point with fall camp is what do the freshmen look like? What does a freshman quarterback look like more specifically? Yeah, a lot of stuff going on. Tennessee's 30 days away from going and beating the crap out of a terrible Virginia team. So can't wait.
Yeah, I like how you just said that fall camp sucks. And I mean, I've never gone through a college one. There's almost an element when we did it in high school, which they don't do those anymore, which we actually talk about later in the show.
Yes.
But there's almost an element of like when you got done with it, it was kind of fun because you're just like with your best friends for a week.
Yeah, it's not like
college.
that.
Yeah, college is just
it's all day long. Literally, my freshman year, me and my roommate like laid in our beds and cried one night.
Right, and then also if you're in summer classes, like a few Tennessee football players, you may have to leave practice to go to class, which just makes it exponentially worse.
I would rather be in class, I think.
Right, but you had to do both. You have to do both. That's where it builds and sucks. So, yeah, not the most fun time of year for them, but
for us, it's
for
great.
us, man. Football's back. We're in it. People are in pads. Like I can hear them popping. You can smell the grass, maybe, or the turf because that's where they've been the whole time. Especially, God, that weather today sucked.
Yep.
I was supposed to mow, so that did push that off, which is nice. But also, I've waited too long to mow, so it just kind of made it worse.
I love that we're talking about the weather right now. It's very old man of us, but
for sure. I mean, that's what we do.
Yeah,
we are getting old. I've heard it a million times. So we are officially getting old. Man, this hat is. I haven't worn this hat since shaving my head. I can feel it on my head. It's weird.
I like that.
I don't know.
Do you want to show the?
No. I'll do another night. It needs to be cut again. I had to order a new beard trimmer because my hair clippers aren't short enough for it, and I have not been bold enough to just go razor yet. So, no, not ready.
Bold enough or bald enough?
I'm bald enough for sure. Not bold enough. Not bold enough. But yeah, we're gonna recap that Florida game. It is just as like gut wrenching and anxiety producing as watching it live the first time. I haven't done a full rewatch. I don't know if you have. That's my first time rewatching the Florida game in its entirety.
I think I've done it one other time.
Okay, so
both were not like both are not great. Actually, all three. Like the first time,
it's not enjoyable.
Yeah. Well,
there's parts of it that are enjoyable. Don't get me wrong, but like
yeah, it's like
whole,
the relief. It's a relief feeling.
You do get the same relief feeling as you did live. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Part of me.
Thank God that's over.
Part of me on that onside kick recovery, I was still like, of course, like I've seen this story a million times.
Yeah, even though I knew that they couldn't advance the ball, I still was like, Oh God, he's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a touchdown.
Yes,
they're gonna rewrite the rule book.
somehow. Yes,
They're gonna rewrite the rule book right now. But yeah, it's all in all, like, there are fun parts to rewatch. So I can't wait to talk about it all. It's kind of fun to be mad sometimes. So for anybody that's just like, you guys are Josh Heupel riders, I've got a complaint for Josh Heupel in this, so we're good.
Yeah, sure.
Don't worry. We've also got do what?
Constructive criticism. He's not perfect.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
If he was perfect, I mean, we'd already win a national championship. We got to work to get there.
We could do that if he wanted to.
I'd
be okay with that.
Baby.
I'd be okay with riding to a natty though.
Oh,
if that's what he's feeling.
Well, we're riding to it. We just haven't got to that point yet.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
We like road trips.
Yeah. You do.
For sure. We also have a really special guest on. I feel like you guys are like, you overuse that word, but I've been dead serious about all of them, but especially serious about the last two. It's South Knoxville week on the pod, baby.
Yeah.
We had Josh Lay, who's a South Knox OG, and then Paul Shelton, who is the head coach now at South-Doyle and is about to start his second year. And I mean, as a person who like values this community, dude, fired up.
Yeah. We went in person in the facility, so that was cool to be back in where we kind of started our football journey, maybe.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And here we are.
Hey, baby, Billy K. Nicely built these.
Yeah, we're so good at football, we end up podcasting. So
exactly. But yeah, so that's a cool one. So we'll get to that here later on. And then if you got any questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. If you catch us babbling and not answering them right away, be patient. Did you hear? I just had I listed off 45 things before that. So be patient. We'll get to the questions unless they pertain to what we're talking about. But we'll get to them. I promise. Prince Harris, go Big Orange, baby. That's a cool name. Prince Harris. Is that your real name? It's on Facebook, probably. Before we get into the podcast, though, I do want to tell you guys about our good friends at Underdog. Underdog is Knoxville's best sports collectible store with a wide selection of UT cards, autographs, and memorabilia. Whether you're looking for a Peyton Manning autographed helmet or the most recent Topps baseball card release, you'll find it at Underdog. The shop is owned by UT graduates and proudly supports UT sports by hosting NIL events throughout the year. Stop by the 640 Plaza at 4452 Western Avenue in Knoxville, Tennessee. They're open 6 days a week with live YouTube shows, 3 nights per week. It's near a Little Caesars, maybe near a Domino's. Go find them. Remember to always bet on the Underdog. Shout out to Underdog Collectibles.
Do it.
God, I almost had that ad read perfect. I stumbled over my words at the end. What are you going to do?
Yeah, we'll get there. This is our fall camp, too.
Yeah, we're just building. I mean, we are pretty much on 2 days right now. I'm pretty tired. Body's hurting a little bit. It is what it is,
Yeah. So let's set the mood.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. Context. I always forget about context. I'm glad you remember.
Yeah. Let's set the mood. So top 25 matchup, Tennessee's number 11, Florida's number 20. The only reason why they probably were 20 is because they beat Utah. The week before.
In a thrilling
in a shootout
match too, man.
Yeah. Sellout crowd, 101,915. How many people were in the stands? Checker Nealon was 1-4 going into this game, 2-4 now, and that's big because I do love Checker Nealon. It's such a cool thing. It just sucks that we do it for big games, and
it's not a Butch Jones thing. It's not. It was not his idea. Do not let the person that was here that sucked tarnish something so gorgeous and fan driven.
Yeah. So 3:30 CBS, September 24th, 2022. Gary Danielson. God, I mean. He don't know where he's at. I mean, he's basically, no offense to, the GOAT Lee Corso, but I mean that performance was very I feel like I saw the same person on game day that morning, and then I saw heard Gary Danielson in this rewatch, and he thought Jimmy Holiday was suspended for the first half, but he returned 3 kicks. So,
to be fair, I feel like the Jimmies are easy to.
Yeah, I mean,
but yeah, still as a
there
guy
should only be one
Jimmy
on the roster.
As a guy that's calling the game, you do have Jimmy Callaway, Jimmy Holiday. They play the same position. But as a guy, that's from a standpoint of someone in the stands, not from the guy that should have, that's been in meetings all week and production meetings. He should probably know.
Yeah, sure.
I'm glad you mentioned College Game Day because this is Tennessee's College Game Day's first appearance in Knoxville would not be their last.
It would not.
We'll get to that, though. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
We are. But Florida has won 16 of the last 17 in this game, and then we have lost 5 in a row. So did make it 6, got the win. I think Tennessee should have dog stomped Florida. Just rewatching this back, it was like we kind of scored at will. And there was just times at the beginning of the game we just kind of shot ourselves in the foot.
Yeah, no, it felt, and then I mean, especially at the end of the game, a little bit of like Florida crawling back in, like making big plays, crawling back into it, but also some of like going back and shooting yourself in the foot. Like defense is like so close to making a play, and they can't finish it. Like they can't. They're not making their breaks on guys. They can't make tackles. That's early in the game. The one I'm thinking of, the touchdown that, who was it? Ran over Travion Flowers. Kamal Haddon tries to strip him instead of just bringing it like that. Well, yeah. So yeah, I mean, a lot of shooting themselves in the foot, and I will give credit to Anthony Richardson. I mean, I thought, yeah, the defense helped him, but he also made some plays. He didn't get sacked for the first time until late in the fourth quarter. I believe I have that written down. Yeah, 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter was his first sack. That was not the first time he was touched. Wasn't the first time he was almost brought down. Like he did a good job of extending plays. He did a good job of making plays. So also Florida is able to stay in it because they get a all-world day from their quarterback. Tell me if you've heard that story before about a quarterback Tennessee's played. I mean, he played really well. Yeah,
he was their whole team. And he was going to either run the ball or throw the ball. Like there was nothing else kind of going on. Billy Napier was going to win on the back of Anthony Richardson.
And credit to Billy Napier too for just saying we're going to make this defense make plays. Going for it on fourth down, they did it twice in the first drive. Tennessee did make a stop on the first drive, which is, I mean, ended up being huge. Well, sort of. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, for sure, ended up being huge. But yeah, I mean, went for it 5 times total. Converted, they convert 6 times total and converted 5 of them. Yeah. I mean, that's just, no team was probably going to do that even against Tennessee's defense. And Florida certainly did not do that the rest of the year.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we kind of set up LSU for failure. You know, we kind of beat Florida giving up all those fourth downs, and LSU thought they could do it, and we stuffed them, and then they ended up getting steamrolled.
Yeah, well, and to that credit, like Florida did it in most of the time in situations where like they couldn't have gotten points. Mm-hmm. LSU came right out of the gate and gave up points for it. And what are you doing? Which I don't want to jump ahead of myself too much here, but I'm going to go ahead and do it since we're talking about going for it on fourth down. Tennessee's last drive, their last 2 drives, they did a really good job of milking the clock, moving the chains, making things kind of, I mean, they didn't obviously lose their sense of identity, but Tennessee's identity, every game we watched this year, we've talked about how fast they're going to snap the ball. That's not what they did on the last 2 drives, and they were able to use a lot of clock. Just kick the field goal there, though. You go up 14 if you make it. It's not a gimme field goal, but it's 48 yards, very doable for Chase McGrath. It was from the center of the field. If you miss it, you're in the same position as if you don't convert the fourth down. But you also have the chance to score on that play. Whereas you're trying to get the first down there. You weren't going to score on that next play, on that fourth down. Just kick it. Take the points. You're up 14. That's 2 scores and an extra point. 2 scores, 2 extra points.
Yeah. I'm with you in that moment. Looking back, I'm saying don't kick it because I think if he used a little bit more leg in this kick, I don't know if he makes that Alabama one.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, leave a little tread on the tires for the kicker.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I remember thinking in the moment, kick this field. I've forgotten how mad I got about it. But, it's different if that field goal puts you up 11.
Yeah.
Then I'm probably, but to go up 14, that's big in that moment. Because Florida, if I'm Florida, I'm kicking my field goal. Well, probably not down 11. Down 10 I would have. But if I'm Florida, I'm probably going to kick my field goal the moment I'm in field goal range and give my offense as much time as possible to score. Whereas they obviously missed a 2-point conversion. Makes it a little more complicated. But yeah, I just thought it made it easier on Florida, which they still had to do a lot. That onside kick recovery, all that. But sorry, I didn't mean to get ahead of myself. That's my criticism for Josh Heupel, but we were talking about fourth down conversions. So,
yeah, I mean that It wasn't great. I thought this is where we were like, man, our defensive backs are horrible. I mean, everybody's just wide open, and it wasn't like any of those guys were good receivers. I mean, the perfect example is on that first touchdown. Florida hadn't thrown a touchdown all year.
Yeah.
And we just literally let a guy just run over us 2 or 3 times and then, just skip his way to the end zone.
I said Anthony Richardson played really well. That play had nothing to do, really with Anthony Richardson.
Yeah. He did have 20 incompletions, which is a lot.
It is, but they also, like every team Tennessee's played this year, they threw the ball a lot, which I think goes back into a lot of people want to criticize the offense for the defense's letdowns. People think the defense would be better, but part of the good thing is, and you saw it in this Florida game when Tennessee was able to jump out to a lead. When you make teams play from behind, they have to maybe play things that are a little bit uncharacteristic. I'm sure they didn't want to run it with Trevor Etienne only 9 times.
Yeah.
And so you're making them do something that's uncomfortable. And at the end of the day, it worked out.
Mm-hmm.
And making them, like you said, Anthony Richardson's not going to throw for 20, not because he's super accurate. He's not going to have the opportunity to throw 20 incompletions a lot during, while he's at Florida.
Yeah.
So it is sure it's not there. I'm sure there's some takeaways that aren't good for the defense, but you also put the offense in situations where they have to go and try to make plays, and that does help the defense. Kamal hadn't had an interception, for God's sakes.
Yeah. Man, what a guy he was in this game. I apologize for whatever I said about him after this game. Hopefully he makes up for it this year.
I've already on the rewatch of this game, I had some things to say in a text message chain, so don't worry.
But to start this game, it was a tough go for the tight ends. Princeton Fant fumbles. Jacob Warren has a third down catch and just kind of drops it.
And Princeton Fant's fumble, man, what a play. Similar to Amari Thomas's play. Like, what are you going to do?
Oh, yeah, but hang on to the football.
This guy, Mike Tyson, punched the ball. Just perfectly. He found the sweet spot.
Yeah, you know what happens when you fumble the football and remember the Titans. That's what should have happened. But he did have kind of a makeup game after that. Had some good catches down the stretch. Jacob Warren struggled a little bit. There was that kind of miss throw from Hendon to Jacob Warren. It looks like Jacob Warren was stopped, and Hendon thought he was just going to keep drifting toward him and didn't. And that was I think that was a big third down play that was missed.
I don't think they had a bad game. They had some bad plays.
Yeah. Yeah, but as a tight end, in this offense, you have to make the most of your opportunities. And
I agree.
I don't think they did at the first of the game.
No, for sure. But you also had that big wheel route. I know he's left butt naked open, but Jacob Warren had that big wheel route that
That's true. Yeah,
was big on that drive.
Mm-hmm.
That was right after the fumble, I believe, in the fourth quarter.
But man, what an atmosphere! Drive. Listening to it, just on YouTube, it was super loud. Everybody was into it. Every third down. I guess props to Anthony Richardson for, first of all, coming in there and, dealing with that environment, but then, having what do you have, over 500 yards of total offense?
Oh, yeah. He had 490-something throwing, 453 throwing, and 62 rushing.
Yeah, he almost had 600 by himself.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he had a day. It is funny. You talk about the environment. It did cause some timeouts. Billy Napier, I don't know if he can handle it. He got riled up a lot. He did get a 15-yard penalty that ended up being meaningless because they didn't rule Jabari Small was in the end zone. He was very obviously in the end zone on that play.
Yeah, that was a terrible call.
And they reviewed it for 5 minutes. But yeah, absolutely terrible. Billy Napier can't handle it. You also have
what a drive to end the second half. 9 yards.
I think that's the biggest thing for me in this game. I don't think Tennessee played a complete game, but their offensive drives, they had really, really good offensive drives come at critical moments. After that fumble in the fourth quarter, going into halftime, coming out of halftime, just very, very, machine-like critical drives. And so like that, we talked about the turning point, like when it would come. I was like, I really can't. Hadn't looked at the stats yet for Florida. I probably would have guessed Florida, but I was like, I don't know when Hendon Hooker really turned it on. It's this game, very clearly this game.
And, you gave kind of Josh Heupel a little bit of criticism. I mean, you got to give him props for that drive and how he can control the clock. I mean, you score with 7 seconds left. You don't give Florida any time because, I mean, as Vol fans know and those who suffer from that battered Vol syndrome, like we all thought, no time is the best time.
We didn't all think it. It will not be forgotten by this guy that 100,000 or so. I don't know the number. I certainly didn't join in, so it wasn't a full crowd join in. The Gator Chomp came way too early, guys. Way too early. Yeah. It's a good memory to look back on, but way too early.
Yeah, I definitely. Everybody thought that Hail Mary that they threw was going to be caught.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
By a Florida player in the end zone. Not by a Tennessee player.
Yeah, not by a Tennessee player at like the 7. And he had the wherewithal to go down.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, yeah, no, it definitely came. That Gator Chomp was not super friendly to me. I was like, that's it. That's how that determined the game right there. It came with like a minute something left. I guess I'm trying to remember when it came. I should have wrote it down.
The what?
The Gator Chomp. I think it came right before the 4th down, didn't it? Came at that timeout. Tennessee called a timeout. And I think that's when it came. So about a minute 15 left in the game.
Yeah, I mean,
which as a Tennessee fan, it's not. A 11-point lead isn't safe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like you mentioned kind of the end of the game where they're kind of burning clock. I don't necessarily disagree that it was good for them to do that, but I did think it was very predictable play calling. And I feel like if you just let Hendon Hooker keep it one time, it's a first down, it's a ball game.
Yeah, I don't like that sometimes in Tennessee's when they go to that slow the offense down, it doesn't feel like it's Josh Heupel's best play calling in those scenarios. I definitely don't like that. But I mean, even that drive, they were not in a hurry to go up after that fumble, after the Amari Thomas fumble, and they milked a ton of clock. Let me see what that drive ended up being. And there was, they slowed it down at the line of scrimmage a lot. And I feel like like you said, if you just run a drive like that, yes, like your intention shouldn't be to milk the clock.
Yeah, go score, man.
Yeah.
Especially this offense, when your thing is to go fast, just go score more points.
Right.
That's how you milk the clock. You score more points.
Yeah, they had a 4.5-minute drive. Jalen Wright's Gator killer move was a 4.5. It was nasty. 4.5-minute drive. Like that's Tennessee's longest drive before that was 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So, that's not going to be typical of Tennessee. So yeah, I mean, but I think if you go back to that drive, there's some great play calling. I mean, for instance, you had Jacob Warren butt naked on a wheel route.
McCoy was butt naked.
Yep. And so like, I feel like, yes, you can have both, but I didn't necessarily, I'm with you that those last 4 downs of the drive, I didn't love. It did feel like they were just trying to milk the clock.
Yeah.
And for me in our offense, if you run a pass play in those downs and it doesn't work out, I'm not mad about it. That's your identity.
Yeah.
Be able to throw the ball down the field. Like that's a lot of who you are. And so I'm not mad about it. Yeah. I also think, I'll say it again. You kick a field goal there, you don't have a chance to lose in regulation. Mm-hmm. I shouldn't say a chance. You 99% chance you don't lose in regulation.
Yeah, I had 2 more things for this game. Number one is it's 4th and 2. I think it's on Florida has the ball on their side of the 50. So in Tennessee's side of the 50. And they throw a freaking bomb. And it's not like the guy's open. I mean, he becomes open because he just runs right past Kamal Hadden. But when he's throwing it, he's kind of covered up. I mean, that should tell you all you need to know is like quarterbacks, 4th and 2, if they're throwing at a corner like that in man coverage, they do not respect you and do not think you can make a play on the ball because those aren't like good receivers. Justin Shorter is probably their best receiver, or he was. But none of those, Pearsall, I think is how you say it. Yeah. None of those guys are like great receivers, and they destroyed us.
They did. And I mean, I know we're dogging the defense, and I don't think it's necessarily unfair.
But
I'm sitting here doing it
the
too.
running game was exactly what you got from them all season. It was good.
Yeah. But I mean, even like as a defense, the first two drives, the first drive resulted in a turnover on downs. Second drive, they attempted a 50-yard field goal that was missed. Like those were huge. And especially like you knew it then, but like even in the grand scheme of things, when you look back, especially because Tennessee turned around and I mean, was going to score a touchdown on that drive before Jacob Warren gets sucker punched the ball out. But yeah, it was two big drives by them to get stops there.
Yeah.
Because they were sustained drives too. I mean, their turnover on downs came at like the 27-yard line or something like that. Obviously that missed field goal. They drove the ball down the field from that spot of that fumble and missed that. So yeah, some big drives that were stopped. So I think this is one of those, like, as frustrating as it was, that bend don't break was super alive in this game.
Yeah, especially because like you had to have it, obviously because the score was the way it was, but Tennessee's offense kept shooting themselves in the foot and couldn't, cash in until late in that first quarter. So those first two drives of the defense getting a stop, that was huge for the offense to not put pressure on them like, hey, we have to go score.
Right. I also wanted to comment about Ramel Keaton. He's remembered in this game, obviously, for that long catch on the home sideline there. He had one on the away sideline. It was 2nd and 16, probably on the Tennessee second drive of the game, that Tennessee got put in a bad situation. I can't remember if it was a sack or a hold, and he's able to get Tennessee to a first down on 2nd and 16 where I can't remember the route, but he made two guys miss to do it. It was either 3rd and short or first down, but yeah, Ramel Keaton came up huge twice in this game.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, that diving catch they made is probably one of the greatest catches I've ever seen in my entire life. I know people say the Odell Beckham Jr. one, but in terms of like an all-around play, like beautiful ball, just laid out perfectly for it, right in the fingertips. I mean, you don't see anything prettier than that.
Yeah, and for me too in this game, talking about like when did Hendon Hooker really kind of turn it on? That maybe was like the swagger play he got, but like for me, it's like give your receivers a chance. Like let them have a chance to make a play. The overthrows were a little much in the games prior, but you gave your receiver, it wasn't a perfect ball by any means, but it was a ball that gave your receiver a chance, and your receiver good enough to make those plays.
Yeah, and I feel like this is kind of when everybody got confidence in Ramel Keaton. It's like, okay, Cedric Tillman's down, crap, what do we do? But Ramel Keaton's there, and it didn't seem to miss a beat.
No, it didn't. And then you obviously have a game from Jalen Hyatt too. I mean, I don't know if this was his official coming out party or not, but it certainly kind of felt like it.
Yeah, and I love every time Brew McCoy gets the ball and like catches it where he's able to turn and run with it, that he's just barreling over a corner. He might go down, but he's carrying him for at least 3 yards.
Bruce massive, and I think I don't know if he likes it, but he gets to work so quietly in this offense. Just because, like, obviously we just talked about two guys before him, and yet Brew McCoy is a leading receiver in this game.
Yeah,
and you just get he's just a hard hat guy, blue collar,
dog,
lunch pail, all the normal stuff, man. Anything else kind of for this game other than I also still feel like we haven't seen enough of Aaron Beasley yet.
Dude, that's another thing. I'm like,
right?
Why is he not on the field?
I mean,
there's my criticism of Josh Heupel and that entire staff is like, where is Aaron Beasley?
I don't think that's going to be a theme this season. I hope.
No, highly doubt it.
But yeah, I found myself many times wondering where Aaron Beasley was on this play. Also, Brew McCoy. I'm not trying to like critique and criticize. And I think the first one, he made a great play on the first one it wasn't positioned well, the onside kick, but in terms of where it bounced, it was a great onside kick, which made it hard for Brew McCoy to field. But he did a great job. But it was awkward. I think that scared him off the second one. He doesn't jump to it like you should if you're on hand steam, and just sets up a perfect recovery for Florida, which great play by them. Dude caught it pretty much one-handed. I mean, they made a great play, but if Brew jumps to that ball, at worst, the ball's bouncing around and we have a chance to recover it.
Was somebody – I didn't go back and watch it because I couldn't wait to get to the next play, but was somebody supposed to like hit that guy?
I think they had just about everyone covered there.
Okay.
I'd have to go
that
look
was
to
the
see
one
if anyone
guy. I
missed
feel like
it.
the one guy that's like lined up with Brew. Maybe you like hit him.
Yeah, you leave the outside guy open there.
Yeah.
You don't, which I guess we were maybe expecting. I'd have to go back and count numbers again. We had a lot of guys on the bottom of the screen, which, Hands team, you watch film, you depend on looks, but you have to respect the weak side of that play for anything back. So maybe that them going to the strong side, the obvious side of that onside kick scared us a little bit. So we respected that weak side a little more. I mean, it was a great onside kick too. Like, I'm not denying that. I'm not putting this all on Brew McCoy or anybody else. But yeah, I mean, you definitely you can't miss that guy.
Right.
That's right where that ball wants to end up. And if you're Brew McCoy or whoever's there, like, you've got to jump to that ball. You've got to at least not let them field it cleanly. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. We are kind of pressing for time a little bit. So Tennessee does win this one. Well, who's next? What game we got next?
LSU, baby.
LSU.
We're going to Baton Rouge.
That's right.
Or no, sorry. It's a bye week and then Baton Rouge, correct?
That's right.
Yeah. We'll watch that game.
Okay.
That bye week game.
Yep.
We'll talk LSU next, though.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's confusing.
Fall camp is here. Not really a ton to talk about. I mean, I just have some questions I'd like answered. Maybe you have some questions too, but obviously the freshmen, what do they look like? Does anybody kind of press a veteran, especially in the secondary? And then what does this offensive line kind of shape out to be?
Yeah, I think that's my biggest concern is the offensive line. Sounds like maybe finding a right tackle has not been the easiest of things. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I'm not too concerned other than right tackle. Obviously, replacing Darnell Wright, like, it's probably not going to be super easy. You obviously have John Campbell on the left side, so that kind of helps that. Right? I mean, that's really – so I shouldn't even say the offensive line. Is that your thoughts?
Apparently, Gerald Mincy is on the left side now too. So I don't know if that makes me feel better about the right side or makes me feel worse about the left side. I don't know.
Yeah, kind of thought Gerald Mincy would be that right tackle.
Right, I did too. So it looks like Jeremiah Crawford is there on
which
now.
I'm okay with.
I mean, who knows what it ends up being?
Right.
But yeah, I think as of now, that's kind of what.
Yeah, it's what are we in day 2 right now?
Yeah. Who cares? Yeah, we have guys leaving for summer class. Who cares?
Yeah. I do, like, for me, the secondary is obviously a question, but like I've talked about this the whole offseason. I just need the defense to get 1% better right now. That's because it is going to take some time. I don't think the talent on the defensive side of the ball.
Coach percentage.
It is, but like, I mean, that's obviously the South Carolina game is kind of, it makes you not incredibly confident for a lot of things, but it also is an outlier.
Yeah.
That was not the story for the rest of the season. But yeah, I mean, for the rest of the season, like, I mean, even looking at Georgia game, and if Georgia fans want to argue they could have blown us out, okay, that's fine. Whatever. You can argue that. But in terms of the actual score that was on the scoreboard, the actual box score, Tennessee's offense didn't play great. Tennessee's defense, if they give you the football back one time, like, that's a game changer. And then also, I mean, Georgia's just really good. So that's also part of that. But yeah, I mean, if that defense is 1% better, I feel a lot better where Tennessee's at in terms of the whole season.
They just have so much more depth at every position. Defensive back, corner was a big one last year that you just really didn't have a lot of guys. I feel like you do this year. Linebacker, didn't really have a ton of line. I mean, no offense to Sloan Page, but I mean, I don't think Tennessee would have preferred him be on the field at times. But you do have Elijah Herring, you have Caleb Perry, you have Aaron Carter, Jeremiah Thielander, you have some Jalen Smith. You have a lot of guys in that room. You have guys at the edge position that are another year older, James Pierce, Joshua Josephs. So you have a lot of guys that can come, off the edge, linebackers, corners. I think you have some depth at safety, a little bit more than you did last year. So I just think you said 1% better. I feel like
I think it's better. Yeah.
You have to. Like, there's no reason why you shouldn't.
Right. I feel better about it. And safeties are kind of interesting, which, I mean, we still don't know what's going on with Jalen McCullough, but it sounds like some young guys are getting the first team reps there right now. That's interesting for me. I hope it's not just because of the Jalen McCullough off the field situation. Maybe there's more, and that seems like a good thing. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see kind of where that.
That's the
shakes
orange
out.
goggles.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
I gotta see that to believe it.
That's fair.
But Tennessee did get a big commitment.
Yeah.
This before we did after we did the last show, 4-star offensive tackle Bennett Warren, and when I say big commitment, 6'7", 330. He's like, I think, an inch and a half taller than Darnell Wright, and they're the same size. I mean, this dude's a freak. Apparently, he's really smart. He really cared about the academics in his recruitment, which, hey, I'm all for it. If you're caring about academics more than NIL, I want you to play offensive line for me.
Right.
So yeah, he picks Tennessee over Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Michigan. But yeah, dipping into Texas, Sugarland, Texas. That's there's got to be a lot of country music that comes out of Sugarland, Texas.
It does. I mean, it kind of sounds like a country music song all by itself.
Yeah, I mean, there was a
maybe
band
not
called Sugarland, right?
Right. Either maybe not a Jason Aldean song because I don't think it's a small town, but
yeah.
Not like Macon, Georgia.
Gosh. Yeah, big offensive lineman. You also have some news. Williams Winery, a 5-star defensive lineman, said that he will commit August 15th between Missouri, Oklahoma, Oregon, Georgia, and Tennessee. So Tennessee's in that one. When you got Rodney Garner, kind of have to be.
Right.
So we'll see if we can close in on another 5-star. Adding a 5-star would be huge for this recruiting class.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
All right. Well, anything else?
No, that's it. Let's get to this interview. Let's head over to South-Doyle High School. I'll see you there.
All right, let's do it.
A very special guest. This is a cool one. So this is head coach of South-Doyle. You might not recognize the helmet right now. A little rebranding, and I know me and Landon both love it. But we're back at the old stomping grounds with new head coach in his second year, Paul Shelton. Thank you for coming on, man.
This is my first podcast ever. Been interviewed, but I'm in the podcast game. I love the pod, so I'm juiced about this, all this setup and stuff. Like I'm super.
I was telling him
up.
this is kind of like the first time we've actually had like stands and everything, so it feels official.
Oh yeah, like a real media room. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Yeah, so we've got some hard-hitting journalist questions now.
Good, Big J journalism. I hear you. I like it.
They'll be coming at you, but I will start with this is the white helmet first off. Like you take everything off, the white's phenomenal. So I mean, you've got the team. You know, we'll assess you as you guys are 2 weeks away from the season. But as far as when you walk out there, I mean, there's no doubt.
Play good.
Yeah,
That's it, man. I mean, I've always been into the jersey game. Big fan of it. Obviously, that's not where you win games, but I mean, it is the whole look good, feel good, you play good type of deal. And Dion says you get paid good, and the reality is kids get fired up for this, right? And so you've got to be able to brand yourself. You've got to be able to give them something you're fired up about. I asked them, and they were like, "Yeah, let's go white." A lot of the jersey stuff, like a lot of it it's on them, and so we try to get creative and let the kids have a little bit of a say in it, and just a clean look. I think South-Doyle has a great color scheme. Red and navy, pretty traditional. You can do a lot with it. I think like Ole Miss has a great uniform, and you think about a lot of the red and blue teams. The Buffalo Bills, that's a really good uni. So, and I really like their white on white helmet too. So, fired up about the whole deal. So,
it's gonna be good. Do you have another one? Maybe Caleb and I can go do some Oklahoma drills.
Yeah. Well, we got them, and they're not stickered up, so we can get this thing going. Whatever, for sure, it'd be great.
I don't want to do that to Landon, so we'll pass today. That is our first question, though. So you're obviously new to South Knoxville. Little trivia: who are the greatest players to wear 10 and 11 that have hallowed these halls here?
The greatest. Gosh, the only 10 that I know is Mason Brang. Okay. But I'm just gonna take a wild guess. It's got to be like a Mitchell, right?
There's one Mitchell in there, yeah. There's a Mitchell in there.
Landon, did you wear 10 or 11 or
10, babe? If you want to win, put 10 in.
Okay. There you go. I was like, you can never go wrong when you just guess a Mitchell on the roster.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because it's, there's 30 of them on our roster right now. It feels like they're just all over the place. And so I was like, okay, well, I can definitely get one of the numbers for sure.
Yeah, there you go. And I mean, the problem with the Mitchells is like you can only put one kicker on the field at the same time. So like you do run into that issue. But other than that, I mean, yeah.
Jonah said to have some hard-hitting question about your kicking ability. Like, are you, or who's the better kicker, Jonah, or were you the better kicker?
I mean, I'm not trying to be cocky, but this guy actually asked him how many fingers did I break.
No fingers. I was actually going to ask, like, the most underrated part of a football team is the bond between the kicker and holder. So what does that bond look like for your team?
Oh, my goodness. So I came from Davis. I was the special teams coordinator at UC Davis. And so, in high school, it's like usually just use a quarterback, to hold, and you got a kicker. And we're fortunate to have a kicker. Half these teams just let their quarterback kick, too. So it's just like, last week, Campbell County had their quarterback out punting. And so we're fortunate to have both Mitchells out there kicking. But, man, just the thing at Davis was so cool was like we had our punter. He's holding for the Green Bay Packers right now, and he held for our kicker. And awesome. Coach Hawkins just sent me a message, and it's all the specialists and walk through with their bucket hats, just like living the good life while everybody else is just grinding in camp at UC Davis right now. So I think that bond is awesome. And like specialists, man, long snappers too, especially at that next level when they're just a long snapper. They are a unique bunch. They're the funniest group. In the whole program. They were the funniest group at Davis. Loved having them over to the house, and they just super relaxed. Like while everybody was in camp, we'd be in meetings. Me and the tight ends would be in there meeting, and the specialists would roll in after special teams meeting with their Starbucks and just sit and
just
nap.
weirdos.
So, love those dudes, man, for sure.
And yeah, you mentioned UC Davis, so like we'll get into this for sure, but it's also unique that. Obviously, we cover Tennessee sports, and you coached a guy that just arrived on campus and has some hype around him. I mean,
did he follow you?
Castles, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he did. No, that's what everybody's asked. Like every single person's like hit me up as soon as he committed. They were like, "How much impact did you have?" And I don't know if it hurt.
Can you recruit? Can Paul Shelton recruit?
I could at Davis. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to anymore. So, but it's good to have him in town, man. He's a great awesome. Kid. Obviously, just starting. I just saw his picture. They did team pictures and they posted it. He's right smack dab in the middle, and he's fired up. He loves it. Yeah, 34. Like that's the type of dude he is, man. He's just a blue collar cat. Like I asked him, I was like, "You gonna get to change your number?" He was like, "I think I can." He was like, "But I don't want to. I just want to stick with 34. I don't care what my number is." So
I think it's a fly under the radar. People aren't looking for a tight end.
They're like, that's 34. A fullback.
I was going to say, can he play fullback? We saw that last year at Tennessee. We saw a tight end line up. Does he have that ability? Is he
he's a
first guy in the hole kind of guy?
Yeah, he's a blocker. Okay. Now. He can insert.
Cowboy
he can
collar.
Block. He can not a cowboy collar guy.
No,
I don't know if you see
Tennessee
Callie with
it.
That'd be funny though. I need to like text him and be like, "Hey, you ever thought about wearing a cowboy collar, lull these safeties asleep and run 4 verticals?"
Yeah.
It's a good move actually. I'll
be awesome.
I think so. We haven't seen a good cowboy collar in a while. We need one.
It's been a while. I think I saw one. I don't know, preseason last year, but other than that, I don't really see them, man.
Not happening. It's disappointing.
I don't know how much they're actually effective. I don't know if they help.
Yeah, probably not. More armbands.
Yeah, I think there might have been more concussions when they were being worn than more neck injuries than not. So
you'll be fine.
Whatever. Yeah, we'll work through it. I'm sorry. I feel like you were about to ask.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Okay.
I was going to, like, your favorite question. You probably never get this question. How's the team, Coach? What's the team looking like?
Yeah, what's it look like? My favorite question is, how many wins? Man, what a great question,
Yeah. Prediction. Let's go right now.
We are, I'll start by saying this. We are really, like, our guys are fun to coach. Just the culture, and I loved our guys last year, obviously. That's no slight on them. But as you just kind of build and you just grow a program and as it evolves, man, we had a rough practice a couple of days ago or yesterday, but, man, very few and far between of those. Mm-hmm. So they enjoy competing. They're fun to coach. They're fun to meet with. They learn football. They want to watch film. And as a coach, like just that alone makes it enjoyable. When you're coaching kids that want to be coached, that's a cool deal. And, anytime you have a program take a step forward as far as like yearly goes, and last year we just putting it all together. I was trying to figure out how to be a head coach. I was not a good head coach. Like it was first year head coach. Like I'm just trying to survive, not die, or get fired. And So now I figured that out. I figured out finances. I figured out fundraising. I figured out organization schedules. And so I think I'm a better football coach because of that. And but our kids are stronger. They're a year stronger. We played a bunch of kids that had never seen Friday night in their life last year. Yeah. So, they're back. So they're better, and we'll be better. And got a quarterback. And so anytime, you guys know this, you follow Tennessee, you got a guy that's a trigger man. I mean, you got a good quarterback. You saw Hooker last year, and it just changes the dynamic of a football program. And we had a good one last year, but Maddox really has complete control of the offense, and our O-line's rolling, and our defense is tougher. So, how many games? I don't know, man. We got higher expectations. Our plan is to win every game. Yeah. Like, we prepared for every game, and one of our 4 goals up here on the board is to win a state championship. And my deal is, whether we came off a 2-8 season or not, I'm trying to win a state championship every single year. And that's the expectation. So.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, we were very fortunate to go 0-10 and 1-9 our freshman and sophomore year. Then we made the playoffs, so it can happen. No doubt. That turnaround is huge and I'm sure everybody's shooting for that. So what was it about this South-Doyle job? Because you're in California. I'm sure you're a huge Cali guy from Newport, so I'm sure it was a culture shock. But what was it kind of about this job that made you want to come back and throw your name in the hat?
Yeah, man. I mean, just a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff. Just the whole story of getting me out there. And then I guess it all started with having a second kid. I had my second daughter.
Congrats.
Hadley. Yeah. She was born COVID, so 2020. And we played a spring season at Davis. I was the special teams coordinator and tight ends coach. We played a spring season, coached in mask, got tested 4 times a week. And, man, what a grind. Like, it was a grind. College football's a grind anyway, but then to go do that and then turn right back around. Like, when you coach college football, you need the whole offseason to even get yourself regenerated and ready to go, because it really is. I mean, you don't have a day off from – these college guys are not going to have a day off from July 31st till December 24th. Like, it's just not going to happen.
And those days off, you're still calling.
That's right. You're still recruiting, and it's gotten crazier since I got out, even the last 2 years with transfer. And so that was aware, and then we came back to Knoxville for a wedding in 21 after that season. And I was 36, 37, I guess I was getting a little bit older, and I was like, I can slow down a little bit. I was like, my wife's an OBGYN, and I was like, she's working, I'm working. We got 2 kids in California, and nobody's out there to help us. And I was like, I've done it. Like, I've attained my dream. I'm a coordinator. Went through that fall season, so the wheels were turning. And, some jobs came open. And the only school that got back to me for real was here. Okay. And I think it was just like God orchestrating this thing out and just like moving the pieces. And I was like, man, South Knoxville, that's a little bit more like home. Like I'd coached at Bearden. Mm-hmm. That was not like home. Just West Knoxville. Nothing against it, but it's just
I'll
not.
Say it if you won't.
It's not. Yeah, it's not Newport. Now South Knoxville's not Newport either, but. And then I interviewed and just like good people. Yeah. Good people in the interview board, and I was like, Sarah, I'm probably not gonna get this job. Like it's probably, and then just like things unfolded. It just unfolded and worked its way out. And I had a second interview on like a Tuesday, and I said, hey, if you need me to meet you, I'll fly tomorrow. Like we did a Zoom interview. Right. I was like, I just want you to know how serious I'm about this thing. Yeah. And Tim Berry said, can you fly on Thursday? So booked a flight, flew Thursday morning, met with him and Coach Duncan, got the job, and then I flew back and forth about 6 times before I moved the family over here. So it was
heck yeah, I didn't know all that. That's
man,
that's commitment. Like
it was nuts, but I want to build a championship program, and I wanted these people to know that I was committed to it. I wasn't just going to hang in California until I got my family here. So man, I just think it was God orchestrating this thing and working itself out. And man, this is the only job I would have wanted. Of all the jobs that came open, like I look back and I'm like, man, this is awesome. I have no desire to be anywhere else. Like this is all, because it's just good people everywhere, everywhere I look,
That's awesome, man. I mean, and I've followed the program, like, now I got 3 nephews playing, but I've followed from afar and just really appreciate what you've done, respect what you've done. Me and Lane, I mean, I haven't made it to a ton of games, unfortunately, the last few years, but like I can think we were in Asheville a couple years ago. Like we watch all the games on Diamond Clear Media.
Yeah.
Like we're like out on a guys trip at the bar, and me and Lane are watching high school football on our phone.
Oh yeah.
Like we're cheering for the Keys, man. And so like
sure.
we're dialed in. So I respect and appreciate what you've done for the program and like where this is headed. Like I've got full belief, and it's like hearing that's like even more like, all right, this guy's in. This guy's committed.
I appreciate that for real.
So I respect that.
Are you working on scheduling those other schools that didn't get back to you on the schedule?
Yeah. Yeah, we actually, I won't name them, but we actually have a couple on the schedule. You know what I'm saying? And
you can tell us
the
off
names,
camera.
and we'll
you
do
can
the
tell
rest.
us off camera.
You know what's
We'll
so
be your
crazy?
PR
You know what's so wild? And this is one of the reasons why I got out of college. I used to be I'm just straight up. Like I used to be a big time ego guy. Like I was a prideful dude. Like I was not it was a big like chip on my shoulder type of guy. I was a big like I got to prove people wrong type of guy. I was around some really good people at UC Davis, and I just found a lot of joy coaching out there. And 4 years ago, I'd have been like, I'm getting these schools. But the reality is like, and honestly, probably when you're a head football coach, there's just so much going on. I don't even have time to think about holding grudges because I'm just thinking like, can I get our dudes to practice consistently, and can we have a better practice today than we had yesterday? I know that sounds so cliche, but like when you're the head coach, so much of it goes into that. So, but yeah, we'll get a couple of those schools for sure.
Love it.
Absolutely.
And it's not a college commitment by any means, but I've coached, which I too believe, especially like, I'm a South-Doyle guy. Like I was a ball boy for the soccer and football team when I was like 8 years old.
Oh, yeah.
And then, played here and then, still come back to games when I can. Like I love this school. I love this community. And anybody that's, even all the way down to an assistant coach, like I want them to like love this community and want to be here and want to be involved. And it's a commitment, man. And like, so like to get here and you kind of take that on without being told that too. Like that's a huge step. And so all this goes into, I also want to ask you about the transfers. I know you've said some of your piece. I don't know if you have more. High school transfers are getting real popular, which is crazy. But I saw your comment at the Knoxville Media Days.
5-star preps.
Yeah. Just kind of like, what are your overall thoughts?
Yeah, I'm glad I'm on a podcast and we can just like talk about this. When they asked me that, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
This is a gotcha question.
Yeah.
Like this is Big J journalism. And so like now the context is taken out. I am for players. I think any coach that doesn't have an open mind for players, I think they're just missing. It's the 21st century. It is, and I'm not a fool. I come from the college level where they were transferring, but I'll be honest. I think not from a player standpoint. I think there are a lot of vultures in high school athletics from a coaching standpoint, and I think coaches prey and use kids, prey on and use kids, and that's the kind of stuff that gets me fired up. It's not the kids.
Right.
Kids will. 14 to 17-year-old kids are vulnerable. They want to be told things that affirm them. We all did.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't good enough. But if some joker was coming out of some school when I was 15 years old and saying, leave Cocke County because we want you to start here, that would have made me feel great. Like every kid's going to feel a certain way. It bums me out to see coaches in high school sports lie to kids. Number one, I don't know if they intentionally do it, but they lie to kids and say like, I'm going to get you to college. That's a flat lie. That's a lie.
Yeah.
And then they use kids. And then I could go into this forever, but these coaches will sell, I'm going to get you to school, but they don't prepare them to graduate. They don't prepare them. And so you see all these kids will sign, or they won't even become a qualifier. They'll just get these offers throughout high school, all this hype on Twitter, all this hype everywhere. And then they'll end up having to go to junior college because they're not a qualifier because no one held them accountable. So, like, our biggest thing here is just, we want to get kids signed. Like, we want them to go to the highest level or the right fit. But at the end of the day, like, we don't want them to go for a year and transfer and hate football. Like, we want you to go to a school, and we want you to thrive at that school, and we want you to graduate. And if you go to the NFL, awesome. You go to the CFL, awesome. And if you go to a six-figure job, awesome. But we just want you to thrive. And I think it just really upsets me to see, because I've been from the college level where I recruited.
Right.
There was not a single. I like coaches in high school, but I didn't offer a kid because he played for a certain coach. I never did. In this age in technology, my first offer and commitment was at a school. I passed Stockton and San Francisco and Fresno, and I went to a school with about 127 kids, and I offered a kid out with Mountain West offers. He was my first offer. Like, you don't need that stuff, and it just makes me mad that like kids are vulnerable to that, and these vultures prey on them, and they lie to them, and they use these kids, and that's what aggravates me the most. I am for kids. I don't back off of that, but like I said, I just think the leaving for upset, like I'm not a starter. I think that's off base too. And I come from it because like my dad would never let it happen. Like my dad would have said, get better, or stop complaining, or hey man, Paul, you don't have to play football. Like, I'm going to love you even if you don't play football, but you're going to finish the season out. And I probably come from that, and that's probably why I have that perspective,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I saw that about, I said all that about community because, I think those points are fantastic. But one thing that's aggravated me, and maybe it's, I'm getting old and I'm getting like my dad, but it's like I grew up, Landon just mentioned it, like we went 0-10 and 1-9. When I first went here, and like the thought, I had the opportunity to transfer to a team that needed a kicker that was, I won't name their names, but they win state championships all the time, and then
It's been past 10 years. I think you're good.
They had limitations.
They had lost a few because of a kicker the year before, and it freaked me out. My dad was like, kind of not. He didn't say no. I don't think he would have let me at the end of the day, but he didn't say no when I mentioned it to him. But for me, it's like the community I grew up in, like the guys I played football with. Soccer with, whatever. I mean, they're still my best friends to this day. Like, I value where I went, and I think that's getting lost. And it's what, like high school sports, at the end, if you get a scholarship and you can go to college for it, great. But that's, what is it, like 2%?
2%.
Like, that's not what's going to happen for most of these guys. And what everybody can gain from it, though, is the community that you gain.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's part of it that's bothered me, that you have kids that played in South Knoxville their whole life, and then they transfer and go somewhere else, or played in North Knoxville somewhere, and then they just decide that, oh, this guy can make me better, and he may be able to. He may be able to, but is it? What's the trade-off at the end of the day? Sure. And so that's kind of bothered me, that I feel like we're losing. Again, I feel like I sound so old, but I feel like we're losing community with 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds transferring.
I see that, and I have 2 little girls, and I got a little boy on the way. As long as this is away, I feel like it's like our generation that has to raise kids that enable or reinforce that community. Like all of this, I know parents just want the best for their kids or what they think is the best, but if parents weren't hyping this and chasing this stuff, the kids wouldn't.
1,000%.
The kids would. So it's like really up to us at our generation, as we have kids and they get into these sports, to be like, I'm not going to be a clout chasing parent.
Yeah.
Like that's not what I'm going to be. And just play. Put your nose down and play. They'll find you if you're good enough. If not, you're still playing with your community and your friends and the people that you care about, and you're representing your community and your family, and you just play. And like you said, like I think it's just so lost. You play football. You play soccer. That doesn't mean it's not intense. It doesn't mean you saw practice. And we get after it. But at the end of the day, like if you're not having fun, what's the purpose? Like that's what we really try to enforce. We get after our dudes, but we want to have fun too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is like I wouldn't want to leave. Like, I mean, me and Caleb were best friends since kindergarten. So I wouldn't want to leave Caleb to go play for another school. Like that just seems, I don't know, it's just different, I guess, in this day and age. But I wanted to ask about, well, let's talk X's and O's a little bit.
Okay, here we go.
So you're a big tight end. Yeah, I was thinking that. We could draw up some plays. Tight ends. You coach tight ends. I'm sure you're a big tight ends guy.
You still do. I saw you getting after him today.
Oh yeah. Those freshmen.
So what's kind of your philosophy of getting the tight ends involved in the offense? How big of that is? for you?
Yeah, I mean, so I'd never coached tight ends in my entire life until I became the tight ends coach at a Division I school. You talk about I was like the biggest imposter of all time. Here I am, I'm a 5'9.5" DB, and they named me the tight ends coach, and I'm out here with like McAllen Castles and all these cats that are 6'4", and I'm out here trying to teach these dudes how to block a 6 technique at DN, and so, but yeah, I love tight ends because tight ends in our offense are the closest thing to the quarterback that's not the quarterback. We ask the tight ends to do a lot in pass pro. We ask the tight ends to do a bunch in the run game. We obviously get them out to catch the football. They're not certified. They're not just they're not glorified offensive linemen, obviously. At a school like South-Doyle, we don't have 3,000 kids. We have 950 some odd kids. I learned this a long time ago. It's not about plays, it's about players. And a lot of your basketball players are tight ends. That's what they are. And so I've got to have a place to have some of the best athletes in the entire school. I got to have a spot for them where they can catch the football and they can learn football. We ask a lot of the tight end. I don't want to sound like we just rip Tennessee, but a lot of the same stuff that you see the tight end doing in Tennessee's offense, that's the kind of stuff that you're going to see him doing in our offense. And I think as the head coach, as an offensive guy, tight end allows me, I can send the tight ends in a period with the O-line if I need to go watch the defensive line or I need to go watch the linebackers. I can send them with the receivers if I need to go watch some other spot or manage. You can't really do that with quarterbacks. Yeah. And so it's my ability. I call the plays, so it allows me to be kind of like the quarterback coach without being the quarterback coach. And they're great kids. I love our tight end group, man.
So what numbers they wearing out there? You got any 34s?
I got 6. I got 6, 24.
Okay.
87, no 34s. I got a couple 40. You know, at Davis, man, we had a ton of 40s. We had like 40, 44, 42, and I was like, gosh, I got to get some
those whatever
swag,
numbers.
Dude. Come on, man. You're just a bunch of fullbacks right now.
Right.
But
that 6 is tough, though. You can't hide that guy.
No doubt.
He gets out there. It doesn't matter if he's in a three-point stance or if he's out wide. Like they've got eyes on 6.
That's right.
So we might need to bump that up a little. 26 maybe?
I like 36. That's the most whatever number I could think
No
of.
doubt. 36? Jonah.
He's dogged Jonah since day one. I think my other brothers have dogged him too. Like, change your number.
I was like, Jonah, man, like, any new numbers? You want anything? Like, Isaiah wants a new number. You know, Isaiah's like, I want 16. And I was like, okay, cool, you get it. Jonah, you want one? No, I think I'll stick with 36. I really like it.
Go with the flow.
All right, brother.
He's always been a weird one.
Great kid.
I mean, that number 11 looks real good, but it's fine. We'll I think does that mean that I can take that? Is that
number 11?
You have a number 11? I don't think I saw one out there today.
We have an 11. The South of the River jersey doesn't have an 11. We just kind of mix and match. But we have an outside linebacker, it's number 11.
Okay.
He looks pretty good in it.
Okay.
I saw 10 is on another Brang.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's Benson. That's the youngest.
Yeah.
That's the youngest, the third in the quarterback in the Bring household quarterback.
Right.
Speaking of numbers, what do you think about 0? It's kind of a new number over the past couple of years that's come popular.
You know, I'm apathetic to 0. I don't. It's another $100 jersey I got to order in all 3
and you've got 9
colors.
other options.
You know what I mean? It's another thing I got to worry about shipment. But it just gives another number as a coach. These dudes want single digits. So now I've just added another single digit, and they get an opportunity. And, you know, the kids are juiced. Like, they're fired up about 0. So we got a couple 0. We got a 0 out there right now. So.
You want to – can you name his name?
Jado Jean-Dor.
Okay.
Jado Jean-Dor.
You didn't know you were – like, that's a tough pronunciation. You said name his name. I didn't know we were getting into
Senior, he's a boundary safety for us. Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
Come down Philly Alley.
So like 0's got to be a DB.
Yeah, that does sound like a DB. You're right. Yeah,
it's got to be.
When they passed the rule, he was the first guy. I was like, I want 0. No one argued. No one else wanted 0. He just wanted 0. So.
You mentioned number 11, outside linebacker. Hardin Valley. I'm assuming they don't run little wing T, veer option, whatever they ran anymore, do they?
It's all wing T.
Hardin Valley's all wing T still?
Are you like kidding me? Are you messing with me?
No, I mean they were when I was
thought
in
you were
high school. I just
trolling
thought
me
they,
right there.
I just
No,
thought they went
were.
away from it.
No,
Yeah.
they were not wing T last year.
Okay.
And apparently they're moving to the wing T.
Okay.
You know, they hit the scrimmage.
What
We're
are
not
we doing?
prepping for it or anything,
Right.
but it's like, yeah, apparently they're running the wing T, man.
Well, we
How do you watch Tennessee and their offense and then be like, guys, wing T? That's what we're doing.
I don't know, man. I don't know. You know, we're talking about like basketball and other sports. Like,
Yeah.
we just sell these. We got a couple of basketball players out. Like, I don't think I would have sold the basketball players on the wing T. So
Would have been
You
tough.
say like, hey, we're playing basketball on grass, man. You never have to block. You just run a route on every single play, and it's all good. And heck, man, we had 2 basketball all-region receivers last year. So
yeah.
I don't know how you get
So you can recruit.
basketball. Yeah, within the halls.
Yeah, within the halls.
legally.
I mean, the reason we played them or scrimmaged them my junior year, I was playing safety, and they rolled me down. I was essentially playing outside linebacker. And I mean, now, you know, I'm looking a little stouter than I was then, but I mean, I was like
Okay.
140 pounds
You look like
soaking
you could
wet.
fit the C gap right now.
Maybe now.
He's got
Maybe
some,
now.
He's got some hips on him.
Then it was, I mean, I was wide-eyed the whole time. I played decent. I got a couple, you know, pats on the head from a big old running back. But, I mean, the moment I was in, you know, we're practicing for that. And just about every play I'd turn to Jay Winter. He was the defense coordinator at the time. I'd be like, are you sure? Are you sure I should be this close to the line of
Do I
scrimmage?
need to be up here?
Like, I'm in the box. I don't know if this is right.
Do we
So,
not have a heavy personnel? What are we doing here?
yeah, no, I was on the sidelines for heavy. I said, I watched your mic'd up. And you got the heavy call, which I know it's classic in football, but it brings back good memories of our time in South Knoxville. So
Absolutely.
We just we just installed our heavy package for goal line today actually, so that fires me up. It's a little bit different than last year, so it'll be good.
A couple fullbacks in there?
No.
No?
No?
2 tight ends.
Okay.
2 tight ends, 2 backs.
Okay.
But no, we don't really have a fullback.
Maryland eye?
No,
No.
you see. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to
Okay.
give too much away to Lenore City. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
you're good.
they're probably avid listeners.
I'm sure.
You know,
Yeah,
so
they for sure are.
that head coach over there, like, hey, Coach Shelton's getting interviewed.
Yeah.
I mean,
let's-
we'll promo this and be like X's and O's. Like, we're diving into the playbook.
Yeah, Coach
Actually,
Shelton's
you
heavy
could,
personnel.
You could just tell,
Exactly.
you could just tell them like, we can edit this, just fake stuff, and then
Bingo.
a little reverse.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
actually, just
exactly.
show us your wing T offense for this year.
Yeah, we're gonna be under center, 5 backs. That's all we're
Yes.
gonna be doing.
I love
so
that.
No, that's crazy. I was like, there's no way. I mean, Hall's got away from it, thankfully. I mean, they ran it for 25 years, probably longer than that. But
no,
surely they
nobody really. There's not a lot around here, but as we scheduled that scrimmage, and then they switched to the wing T, which is a bummer. But Lenore City,
hey, get
now,
physical though.
They are like single wing, like
Okay.
General Neeland
Yeah.
single wing. You don't know who the quarterback is, single wing. So they are foot to foot. So it's different, but it'll at least give our guys an opportunity to face another team that doesn't really have receivers, and they just kind of pack it in there. So
Yeah. At the end of the day, too, like you are, like, I mean, you're responsible for your assignment, like in the same vein. So it's physical. Like get in, get dirty.
it'll be good. I'm excited to see, because we were not physical last year. We were not a tough, physical football team. I'm sure they'll get some misdirection on us on Friday. Like,
Right.
it is what it is. I want to see our dudes come down
Yeah.
and
At the end
attack
of the day, be
box
flying,
and be
though.
physical,
Yeah.
because the scheme is a scheme. We'll have 2 weeks to prepare for opponents, or 1 week for each opponent, but 2 weeks for Lenore City. And if our guys are willing to put a body on someone, like that's what I want to see on Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the corner. Like when you're coaching a corner for that week, the only thing you're really telling them, don't fall asleep.
That's right. Safety's for sure. I'm telling you, safety's like, this is what they're going to do.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I hope it doesn't happen, but
Don't fall asleep.
there's somebody's going to leak behind, and we're all going to have a heart attack. Hopefully they just overthrow or we get a sack. But one of those teams, they always leak behind you
Right.
once in
Yep.
that game. So
I was 16. They're gonna fall asleep.
no doubt. The attention
happens.
spans here.
Yeah.
For sure.
What's so you talked about like being physical last year. Obviously, that's part of your program. The way you just talked about, like that's part of your program. What was the buy-in kind of like going through winter workouts into spring football into last year? Like, did you feel a buy-in point, or is it kind of just come on slowly going into this year?
Yeah, I think anytime there's a change in coaches, right or wrong,
Yeah.
good or bad, it's just gonna be tough, and it's toughest on the senior class. It's just it is like you could have the world's greatest senior class, and I thought we had great seniors last year, but even still, they've seen it done one way for 3 years, and I'm the new guy, man. Like I'm that's just the way it is. Now, they didn't. There was no contention of them flipping on me, or the locker room didn't. I've seen some bad situations in my career, but they did a good job. And even still, it's just I wasn't their career coach, and we did some evaluation at the end of November. Obviously, last year was not what we wanted. It's not our expectation, not my expectation. But you just really look at it. The biggest thing that we struggled with last year was consistency. And I'm not talking about cliche coaching consistency. I'm talking literally consistently just showing up to practice on a day in and day out basis from everybody. Showing up to workouts, showing up to those things consistently. And then the toughness. Like we weren't particularly tough. And I personally, that's not on the kids. That's on me.
Yeah.
That's on me. Like the fact that we were not tough shows that I was not a tough coach. Like that's completely on me. It's not on our football players. But I just told our staff, and our staff just did a good job of evaluating. And we came in December. We had a meeting with our rising guys, and we just said, hey, guys, no matter what we do, no matter who we play, this is before the schedule even came out, no matter how many yards we throw for or wins we get, we will be tough and consistent. That's it. Like, we are going to be tough and consistent. And I'm telling you, man, I credit the senior class. Even after a 2-8 season, gosh, they jumped on board. And in high school football, and we've been on some good teams. This is one of the best, if not just most cohesive, best leading senior classes I've ever seen in high school football.
It's awesome.
After a 2-8 football season. Like, I could go down the list, and you talk about modeling consistency, and so like for the metrics, we increased 92%. Like we reward 92% summer attendance. Last year we had 21 guys get 92% summer attendance. I just had to order 45 guys 92% summer attendance gear. Like just the metrics, we doubled our consistency, and we're better and we're tougher, and we did all the things to make ourselves tough. So, yeah, dude, those seniors, man, they have led this football team. This is their football team. It's not my football team,
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about the coaches. So you come in, you mentioned you're the new guy, but you also have some staff that, stayed over from the previous coaching staff. What was that kind of like, and, how did those guys, just want to stay?
Yeah, I was fortunate. I didn't have any like weird, clunky, hard firings or conversations. Most of the guys that were kind of ready to move, I guess when a guy retires, you just kind of have guys that are like, it's my time, And so, we had 3 or 4 guys kind of move on. And then I met with the guys that were here, and I said, hey, this is kind of my vision. I want you to be thinking about it. I didn't necessarily interview them. I wanted them to get to know me too. They could have very well hated my guts because I can be not likable. So it just so happens I kept 4 from the previous staff and was able to bring 4 of my own in. It was a good little mixture. And last year, man, I couldn't have had a better staff because there was no backbiting. It would have been very easy to turn coat on me. It would have been very easy to have been like, especially for the vets of the crew, been like, hey, this is not how we used to do it, because we didn't do a lot of things the way they've used to do it. Like, there's a lot of things changed. And, man, they were with me. They had my back. And that was the most important thing for our kids to see, like, hey, the coaches aren't turning on each other. And so they didn't turn on each other, even though it got nasty and it got ugly in some of those games. So I was super fortunate. And, you're always going to have some attrition. We added a new quarterback coach from Central, so that was a good hire this year. And
Carson Newman too, right?
Carson Newman, Carson Newman, who's an ETSU Buck for a couple of years, transfer. Okay. That's right, baby.
Talons up.
That's right. So he's with us, but it's been a good staff, man. It's been a good transition. I've been very fortunate to have those tough conversations yet.
You can tell us now what you really think about Corbin Roode if you'd like.
Yeah, if you want us to do any of the firing or any of those tough conversations, we can do that.
Corbin was our long snapper one year. So
Corbin
was a long snapper.
Yeah, he's a year older than us.
Why is he not coaching long snappers? Corbin's going to be coaching long snappers tomorrow.
You can blame that on me.
On long snappers tomorrow. He's got Alan Kidd doing everything on the specialist circuit.
Okay.
So you know what I mean. So Corbin will be coaching long snappers for sure. That's good news.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, he was the guy delivering the ball. I guess for a year.
How was he? Short snapper or long snapper or both?
I think he did punts and field goals. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't out there for punts.
I guess you were. Corbin down there.
Corbin recovered. Corbin did do punts. He recovered a fumble one time.
Okay.
Yeah, dude muffed it and Corbin got on it. I think he did. Or maybe
he
was
had
just
a nice
first
little,
guy down there.
Little silly.
He's a big speed guy.
Yeah, he's an athlete. He's got some
baseball.
athlete in him.
Yeah.
How big is his head? Have you measured his hat size?
Dude,
you still probably have the helmet laying around.
I order hats. They never fit. Like he's like, just keep that and give it to someone else because it's not going to fit mine.
Like you'd have to take all the padding out of this helmet. So
you have to like custom fit his head for a freaking hat, man. I love him to death, but it's like I hate it for you, man. Sorry.
Yeah. No, he's the best.
I love Corbin.
He'll be good for us.
For sure.
He does a good job with our D-line, and kids love him, obviously. Really good in the coach's office. Funny guy. Good to have over the house, hanging out a little bit. So.
Do you think you can get a coach out of retirement? A little certain person off the lake.
Dude, I wish we get Tracy Ray back.
Yeah.
Dude. I'm telling you right now, I mean, I talk to him every now and then. He's like, he calls when I need a call. I don't know how it happens. I don't know how he knows it too, but he'll call me or text me, and it'll be after the worst practice or the worst workout or the most drama. And so, like, that cat has been so supportive. So
he's just a guy's guy.
Human being,
oh, yeah.
Man.
He texts us no matter how bad our episode is. He'd be like, great episode, guys.
Yeah.
Really?
Every time.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go to sleep on Thursdays. I'm like, didn't get a text from Tracy. Don't worry. Friday, like on his drive into work, we get it. So.
Yeah, man. He'll just text me and be like, hey, good luck at good luck at Easter service today. You know, like he'll just hit you with like a good luck at just random times. It'd be awesome, man.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. It won't take too much. He'll get tired of it. He misses it.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
Let's get into your playing days a little bit. I did some research.
Oh boy.
I can use the internet.
Okay.
So Maryville, and did you play at ETSU or just play at Maryville?
No, so I went to Maryville College. Okay. Played at Maryville for a couple of years. Transferred to ETSU. That was right about 2 years after my graduating senior year was the year that they shut the program down.
I was about to say I was trying to figure out timing, but I couldn't do it.
So when I transferred, just straight up, like I've told these guys a bunch. I was an idiot at Maryville College. Like I was constantly playing dynasty mode on NCAA.
Oh yeah,
that's all I did.
We still do it.
Who was it? I think I was a big Louisiana. I took Louisiana Tech, to the Natty, and I was recruiting. And man, those grades suffered heavily because of that. I was only able to hang on for a couple of years, and man, that moved to ETSU. Nothing against Maryville. Like I just matured and became a better person. And again, that humbled me. I needed to be humbled, and I thought I was hot stuff as a football player, and I needed to be humbled a little bit, and Maryville humbled me a little bit from the academic standpoint. So I played there a little bit and transferred to ETSU and graduated.
So who'd you play when you were at Cott County? You weren't in the IMAC. So who did you play?
We were in the IMAC.
Okay.
I played it for West Jones. I was there from 99 to 03. We played Morristown West, Morristown East. We always played Jeff County, but they were never a region opponent.
Cherokee?
Greenville, Cherokee, Volunteer was a region opponent. At that time, David Crockett was a region opponent.
Okay.
Wow.
We came down to Central and played Knox Central for a non-conference. Seymour, we played Seymour for a non-region game.
Yeah.
But it was always Morristown West, Morristown East, Cherokee.
Gotcha.
Those teams.
Yeah, we played in the IMAC, and I vividly remember Cherokee and Cott County always had high grass every time we went.
Yeah, slow us down. I'm not that I needed to be slowed down, but slow us down.
Hedrick Field, man. Hedrick Field. Yeah, Cherokee got turf.
Did they?
Oh,
They have
nice.
turf now.
Okay.
They have turf. Cotton County does not. They do have
They sold some of those fireworks, and they started. They got some turf.
yeah, exactly. They Cotton County, they have a like one of those automated mowers though. Automated line painters.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
So they have that for sure.
Wow.
But yeah, they still have that grass on that natural surface.
Is speaking of painting, is that why you decided to come back to high school football? You didn't have to paint anymore over here, because that's the worst part.
Dude, that was my first 5 years of coaching. It was at Unicoi County. It was all painting. And then my first year at Bearden, we had no turf. So I don't know, man. Those Thursday nights at Unicoi County, we had a really tight-knit group. I was super young. I was like 23, 24 years old. So staying up was nothing. So like those Thursday nights, just like bonding and like putting music all over the loudspeakers and painting was actually kind of fun. Like after you go Sunday through Thursday and you're just like working, like, you know, the hay's in the barn and you're with your boys, you get some gas station food. And you just sit there and just like look at your work. You know, that's kind of fun. It was nice.
Okay.
So.
Better man than me. I had to do it for the soccer field for like
I don't
4 years.
I don't want it back. I don't want it back. I'm good with the turf. I'm good.
That was twice a week, and then spring and fall, and it was. Like the first one, you know, you feel good. You're like, oh, lines are on the field, we're playing. And then like the fifth, sixth one, you're like, this is stupid.
But for football,
can we play without lines?
For football, you only need 5 a game or 5 a year.
Yeah, so it's not as bad.
That's nice.
How do you ever use this practice field?
We're in the works of getting it right.
Okay.
So there's some divots. I don't really want to go up there and lose a kid to a messed up ankle.
Right.
The turf the grass is good. Like it's still maintained well. Still, you can tell people have parked up there, and so there's some not terrible, but the irrigation's right. And like the faster I can get up there to practice, the better it is. Like I know that it's just so much better for you. You got great grass. It's just so much better, and that way we're always up in soccer's way. We're always up in girls soccer's way, and so give them a full field every now and then, get us off the turf a little bit.
Yeah.
And plus like right now that turf is hot. It's awful on that black turf. So it's I can't wait. It probably won't be this year, but next year we'll be practicing most of the time on that grass.
Yeah.
I'm glad you ran a little camp. You need, these kids don't get camp anymore. That's like the worst and the best times.
No doubt.
There's nothing better than sitting down like 4 o'clock and seeing the heat waves come off the turf.
Yeah.
You're like, this is July.
Now I'll tell you, our camp was not like your camp or my camp.
Wasn't 3 days.
We set it up. We fed them breakfast. We got them here, fed them breakfast, and we met and we lifted, and then we got a morning practice in pads, and then we feed them again, and then we'd meet again, and then we'd walk through in the heat of the day.
Yeah.
So
It's still a grind, though.
it's a grind, but it was good. We brought the slip and slide out, we did some team bonding type stuff. And anytime you feed these kids, man, we fed them 8 meals throughout the week, so they were like fired up. And we talk about the community, like the community just like showed out for our kids, just like brought tons of food, tons of drinks,
And it was all gone.
it was completely. I think we went through 680 Gatorades.
Oh,
That's amazing.
680 Gatorades.
it means they're hydrated.
Which is probably not unbelievably healthy, but whatever, man. They need calories. It is what it is.
something.
What's the slip and slide like on the turf? I meant to ask you that.
Dude,
I feel like it would be
bad move for the boy this year. So we did it in the morning last year. This year, we were like, oh, we're going to walk through. And we had it all set up. And it was like 2 o'clock. And it was last week, which was the hottest week of the year. And I stepped on that turf, and I was like, I'm going to lose kids to third-degree burns from this
melting the
turf.
plastic.
So, like, kids were, like, tiptoeing around and having to stand in the water, and I was thinking I'm the dumbest coach trying to do something cool for these kids.
But
so
they
we
loved
got
it.
them off pretty fast. Like, we got them out of there pretty fast. And
Have you thought about the hill next time, or is that too dangerous?
yes, I have. But the problem is trying to get the water hookup.
Okay.
The water behind the scoreboard, very easy. And, down the big hill, I get a little nervous about that.
Yeah, for sure. I've
still
sled
fun.
down it. Now that means the track's covered in snow at that point, but a little safer. But yeah, I've
Sledding.
sledded
I like
down that
that.
hill
Oh, yeah.
Next year.
multiple times.
Next year. Next year. We'll have more kids, so we can afford to, no big deal.
Yeah.
We'll bring in the snow machine. Ober will come down, set us all up. That's well, I don't know. You got anything else?
I got one more
I was about to say,
question.
I don't have a last question. Look,
Yeah, I got one more
have it in
question.
there.
So, last question. Do we have a sponsor we can
Underdog Collectibles. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Shout out.
Yeah. Last question.
Let's go.
Did you know when you were going to be a coach that you would no longer be Paul or Shelton? You would just be coach from then on?
That's a good one. Yeah, I didn't really think about that. But it's like it is a badge of honor. I am getting to the point now at 38 that like the first round of cats that I coach now are like going through med school and they're doing the thing, like they're becoming adults, and then those cats are calling me coach. And that doesn't mean that much when you're 24, 25, 26 or whatever, but it's starting to mean a whole lot more now. Like it's really cool to be that to somebody. I think I feel bad for the kids I coached early on. Like I just was not as good of a coach then, you know. Like so, I just keep thinking about that. I'm constantly trying to be like, okay, I want the kids that get 38-year-old Coach Shelton to be, a lot more thankful and a lot more impacted. But yeah, man, it's a badge of honor. I love it. It's awesome.
Yeah. Appreciate you coming
I
on.
do have a last question.
Okay.
So I was doing the research, and I Googled Paul Shelton ETS shoes. I was trying to figure out if you played up in Johnson City. Were you in a production of To Kill a Mockingbird? Is that correct? No? Okay.
No,
I was
never,
hoping maybe you were a theater
never
guy.
into that, man. I should have just doubled down and been like,
should've.
yeah, that was me.
I couldn't figure out the years, so I was like, I'm just gonna ask him.
No,
We'll find out.
I was just a flag football intramural referee and dude, eating pals.
Oh,
That's all I did.
I lived up there for about 2 years.
I met my wife.
I dream
and
about it.
Just living life up there, you know.
I love some pals. We should feed the kids pals. They should get to experience pals.
Dude, if we go to Northeast Tennessee at all, we will have a post-game pals run. Yeah,
that would be
I'll go through the drive-through for you. You text me the order. I'll go through the drive-through. You can't get the bus
we
there.
played Gibbs in Jeff City last year.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Rough game. Rough game for the boys. A rough game for the boys, but I'd planned that if we won, we were going to Pals afterwards for a little post-game snack. But we just wanted to get back after that one. That was a tough one. So.
I get that. I get that.
Not fair.
Well, I appreciate it, man. It's been a ton of fun. Sorry for holding you. I know this is a busy time of year, so we'll let you get back at it. And
it's a dream come true. It's awesome, man.
Yeah.
For real. Appreciate you guys having
Thank
me.
you.
Absolutely.
Go win some games this year.
Yeah.
How about it?
Go Keys.
Go Keys, for sure.
Appreciate it.
That was South-Doyle head coach Paul Shelton. Such fun having him on. Yeah, get your headphones in there, Landon.
Whoops.
I feel like we might need to set up like a weekly thing with him. That's how much fun that was. So
That was a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm a huge fan.
Good on the mic too.
Yeah, he was killing it.
I was
just
already
enjoyed that. I'm back to being a South-Doyle fan again.
Back to being it. I've always been.
Yeah, I feel like I always have been, but I haven't really been a fan. I've been a fair weather fan these past couple of years.
Okay.
So
he
back on it.
Full disclosure, I'd been sold on him prior to that interview, but dude, that story about him, like, hey, I know I'm living in California right now, but I'll hop on a flight right now, so I'm serious. Like, we can meet right now. That's like I'm 100% in. That's all 110, I guess, now, because I was already 100% in.
Yeah, we were talking to him a little bit after that, and the fact that he has his kids. He's not living in South Knoxville currently. Housing market tough.
Give us the address.
Yeah. But he said he is sending his kids to South Knoxville schools, and that's all you want.
Yeah, like going back to that community. That's kind of like what, like, how to say this right? Like, that's kind of like what, I guess, like being involved with sports growing up, that kind of like taught me. And like, I'm not like trying to say South Knoxville was like the only community like this. Like, it's all over the world, all over the country. But like, that's where people like build character, learn to deal with learn to deal with adversity, learn about the sense of community, about helping people through adversity, and help. That's a lot of the things that teaches you. So yeah,
you're getting deep, dog. You need.
Dude, that's kind of what makes me mad about the transfer portal in high school.
Transfer portal.
It is. It's a transfer portal now. That like, I feel like we talked about it. I mean, listen.
Here's my thing.
Never going to get a scholarship for football ever.
Yeah, you could.
But
if I could get one, you could get one.
Okay, but I could have gotten many a full rides for academics. or for other things. For
Dude,
being
are you smart, dog?
I'm much smarter. I'm much smarter than I allowed myself to be. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
No, I mean, they do not tell you the types of like service scholarships and academic scholarships that are available. Like when we're younger, they'll tell you though that sports will pay for your school. They forget to tell you that's only at one level of it, and even then, that's really only football and basketball.
Yeah. Yeah. Tough for sure.
They leave that part out of it until you're about a senior in high school and you get that first offer, and it's for $3,000 a semester to a $30,000 school.
Yeah.
They leave that part out.
Here's my thing with the whole transfer thing. If your buddy is leaving his school to go to another school, even though all of his friends play on that school that might not be that great, he wasn't really your friend.
Oh wow! Yeah, that's deep right there.
Yeah,
like you're telling
wasn't
them
really
right
your
now.
friend. There's no scholarship. There's no state championship ring that can replace hanging out with the boys. There's
Yeah,
nothing
dude.
like
Just
it.
learn. That's where you learn. That's where guys learn to be dudes.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, the funny thing is, a lot of these kids that are transferring around now already have scholarship offers. Like it's just about winning. Can we just say that too?
Yeah. These coaches, these college coaches, get paid a lot of money to recruit from all over.
If you're good enough, they'll find you, especially
Exactly.
now. Like that's always been true, but especially now with the camps. That's another thing. If you want to get recruited, you go to the camps.
And like the age of social media,
Yeah.
like if you have a video out there that you're just a freaking stud in, somebody's gonna see it.
Yeah. As long as your dad's not as annoying as Baby Gronk's dad. He might not get recruited because of that if he's ever good enough to be recruited.
People, they do know who he is, so I guess maybe
Fair point.
Maybe it's not in a great light, but you know,
bad PR is good. What is it? Bad pubs, good pub.
Yeah.
So, no, it's I kind of going back into all we did get a chance to sit down and talk with Coach a little bit before and after, and I'm just really encouraged by, I mean, it's no secret like South-Doyle is never, even in its best years, like they're still not like a powerhouse program, and that may not be like ever what they are at, but I like the direction that it's going, and like it's a guy who has the sense of a championship program, not a championship team, and I love that. Obviously, I want South-Doyle to win football games, but I also want like South-Doyle to be something that people are proud of.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I saw a lot of, Castles being like a breakout player for Tennessee. And I think it is cool that we kind of got to tie in Tennessee a little bit with McAllen Castles and him wearing 34 cowboy collar.
Yeah. If you see him in a cowboy collar, we did.
That's us. Yes.
That's us.
We want full credit for that.
Yeah, no, I had a ton of fun. I hope we get to get him on the show before like too long again. I mean,
yeah, that was our third time doing a live show.
Third time
in person.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wait, third, second. Who else do we have? With
Mari
guests?
Thomas.
Okay, that's why I want to show. You did a great job interviewing, but
okay. Yeah, in person. Okay,
all right.
Third-ish.
I'll give you that.
Yeah,
2.5.
Yeah,
2.5. But yeah, and shout out to letting us use the facility. It felt good to be back in. That's another thing I told him when we got done. I said, "Man, I love what you've done with the facility, but you took the locker room smell out. Like I used to be able to walk in and just get hit with a flood of memories on that first whiff, and now it's like, what's happened? It looks great. It smells great, but it doesn't smell like I remember it smelling. I got to go. I'm gonna have to let him go in. Like he's gonna have to let me go in after like the scrimmage Friday night when it smelled. Get all the sweat going. Pads are nasty from a week of practice. That's when I need to go in.
Yeah, I think when you get to college, you realize like locker rooms don't have to be just like infested with disease.
Right. Yeah, I definitely was just smelling staph when we were in high school.
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, no, great time. Loved it. Thanks, Coach Shelton, for having us, hosting us.
Yeah, we'll do it again for sure. Yeah, good luck this season. Go Keys. I guess let's start with questions.
Do we have any more? I tried to keep up on Twitter just in case we had some about high school football. I didn't see any but prior either.
We got one. Who is the biggest breakout player on Tennessee's defense this season? Yeah, and it's not Twitter anymore, Caleb.
So, I don't care. I don't care. It's gonna always be. I actually tweeted that today. I said we're live on X, but it sounded funny to me. I don't know. That's a great
repost this. I hate that.
Oh, that's what it is now. It's not a retweet. I guess it can't be a retweet.
Yeah, repost. Should be re-X.
Yeah, re-X this bad boy. Are we Xing things now?
Yeah, let's do that.
That will end up looking like good God, he was my most important of the week. The what is his name? Good Lord. Just flying knee knocks someone out Saturday night.
Oh,
Derek Lewis.
Derek Lewis, yeah.
Yeah, he was Xing things already. This is interesting. I've seen a bunch of Aaron Beasley comments. I'm like, I think his breakout year was last year, guys. But thank you. I mean, that's cool. I'd love for him to get better.
Yeah, sure. 1%.
1% better. God.
I think I'm going to go.
Are we looking towards what are your thoughts? Are we looking towards secondary? Are we looking towards?
I think it's an edge rusher. I think it's James Pierce and or Joshua Josephs. Whoever, wins that job, I think that will be your breakout player. I think both those guys have an opportunity to play a lot this season and have a real like job.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound right. But have a good like production in the defense. I can't even think of what I was trying to say. I'm just thinking about all those sacks they're going to get.
That would be a great thought to have.
But I think Danico Slaughter's a good one. Maybe his breakout game, I guess, was against Kentucky, but I'd like to see more of him. He is at corner for good, it seems like. So, I think he should only get better at the position.
Okay. I think I just feel like, I'm like thinking about the Florida game. He had one play that was not great, but I want to see, and I don't know how, kind of going back into how many snaps he'll get, but Christian Charles, I just feel like we could see. I feel like speed kills, and he has a lot of it. That's one guy that I just think I don't know, our secondary is just not great altogether.
He's got to go back to safety though.
But he is, isn't he? Didn't he make that move?
Yeah, okay. I think he is back at safety, but that's where he's gonna.
Yeah, you can't really use your speed all that. If you're using your speed at corner, that means it's probably not good.
Yeah, and I don't really get that. He was at safety and you moved him to corner, I guess, because you had to, but it wasn't a great switch, in my opinion.
Right. I like your guys on the line in terms of James Pierce, and I think Joshua Joseph's given more snaps. Like, he's going to be a guy that you hear a lot of his name.
Yeah, they're kind of freaks.
Yeah, kind of, again, depending on how often he plays, but every time he played last year, it seems like you heard his name.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I like both of those. I would love to find out that Christian Charles is that dude.
Yeah.
He's a guy that I feel like he's on the field. He usually impacts play in a positive way.
Mm-hmm. I saw some Arian Carter's, and we'll see kind of what his role is, but
he seems like a dude, but it's got to be tough to be a freshman and get on the field as a linebacker. I mean, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing he's on the field.
I think if he is on the field with the depth Tennessee has right now, I think that's a great
good thing.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
I think that's I was about to say thing. That doesn't happen very often.
Right. Your linebackers should be better this year as a group.
Yep. Also like Tyree West. I think that's a good one.
I've seen Elijah Herring's name twice now in 2 days. I feel like that's an interesting. You saw some of him last year, mostly in garbage time, but some not, and interested to see what's there.
He had a few packages in there. So, I'd like to see more of him. Yeah, I think there's a ton in that defense. I think Wesley Walker, I don't know if you'd really, however you define breakout player, but a guy that I think should have started at safety. Maybe some people disagree with me, but I think he was probably your best safety last year, and just didn't, for whatever reason, just didn't see it. Didn't see the playing time that he probably was thinking when he transferred here.
Right.
But now he's back for another year. It looks like he's going to start at one of those safety spots. And, he was the guy that was around the ball pretty much every time and made some big plays in the run game. Didn't make a ton of interceptions, but
Right.
Just being around the football, I think that takes instincts and just got to finish the play when you get there.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Stupidity?
Stupidity, yeah. Let's do it. You got any?
I do. I'm going to have to scroll through.
Okay.
I got first one.
Okay, go ahead.
I found one. My first one's and Knoxvillians may know this name, even though he covers the Texans. He used to be. I haven't listened to radio in a long time. He used to have a weekly segment with John and Jimmy. It's John McClain of the Houston Chronicle. I don't even know if he's still at the Houston Chronicle. He used to be when he came on the show. He tweeted back at the owner of the Houston Texans, who I guess was in an air-conditioned tent at camp. He said, a perk of being the controlling owner. Janice McNair watches from an air-conditioned tent. Wonder if she'll consider an air-conditioned tent for the media. Houston Texans PR responded, there's literally an air-conditioned tent for media at every practice and a picture of it. I mean, he's been covering the Texans since I was little, so I feel like he should know about it. It's not like he's a new guy.
Yeah. Wow.
That's just dumb. It's bad. Also, to get called out like that, just.
Yeah, not great.
No.
He's had better days, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably.
My first one is the girl that covers Vanderbilt. I don't know why she's so obsessed with Tennessee. I guess
I know.
covering
She
Vanderbilt.
She wants to be working it a little farther east than she is right now.
Exactly. Yeah, she just isn't good enough, so be better. She says it's 2026. The Mets, the best team in baseball, are in Game 6 of the NLCS, and Drew Gilbert is having a huge series. Then he visibly yells an F-bomb on TV, takes himself out of the rest of the series with ensuing ejection, and the Mets lose Game 7.
First off, the Mets were going to lose Game 7 anyways.
Yeah. Also, I think that's awesome that Drew Gilbert is actually in that position. And if they lose Game 7, that's because they're the Mets, like you said. So that sounds like an ideal scenario for me, being a Yankees fan. So
yeah, and if a Vanderbilt fan tweeted that, it would obviously we're going to say the same thing. But it's a little trashy that someone who is supposed to be a beat writer for Vanderbilt, I don't know, she probably holds herself. It's the same thing as talking about those people that voted for Vanderbilt to win the East. If you're like me and you, and you're just openly admitting that's a joke, that's fine. But then you're probably going to say something super uppity and just I'm a real journalist or something like that. But then you tweet crap like that.
Yeah.
So are you a real journalist? Because I'm going to go with, I don't know what a real journalist is if we're just being 100% honest, but I'm going to go with no.
Yeah, she's bored. Vanderbilt's season got cut a little short, so I guess she's just been bored
for a
while.
That's a good point.
And she didn't have anything else to do until baseball season's back around because God knows I'm not – if I was in her shoes, I would not cover that football team.
No, I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
Have you changed your name to Commodore yet to try to get season tickets?
I should, yeah.
Yeah, I can't just spend the $11 a ticket on them. I got to change my name.
Right, yeah. That sounds like they should pay you. They should pay you to change your name and not in season tickets. Season tickets should be that. That seems like a punishment almost.
Right. There's a good joke. When I was little, I remember we used to go around about someone who left 2 free tickets on the hood of their dashboard, and when they got back, the windshield was broken, and there were 6 tickets to Vanderbilt game.
That's awesome. That is a very dad joke.
I think my dad told it to me. It was a good one. I did have I had a fail that I was going to do on Sunday, but it's now turned into a stupidity. I don't know if you guys heard the story. I don't have the names. I probably should have looked those up before. Maybe Joey or Dylan, as I'm telling the story, you might recognize it. Maybe give me the names. So the wife of an Auburn former football player, she was arrested for hiring her Bahamian, I believe is how you say it. I guess they visited the Bahamas often. She had an affair with some dude there. Her and that guy that she was having an affair with hired someone, Robert Shiver, his wife, Lindsay Shiver. That sounds familiar. But they hired this guy to kill them. So hired a hitman. They get arrested. All three get arrested, found out, arrested. The stupidity now is that the husband has bailed her out for $100,000, has bailed her out of jail. And the other two are out on bond now. I don't know, dude. I feel like you just I feel like you kind of ate it in your own. Is that suicide at this point?
Yeah, that gets a little too forgiving.
Yeah, I mean, what are we doing?
I mean, I know forgiveness is a big thing that people teach and coach and stuff, but man, maybe that's a little too soon before I'm just like, forgive you. Here's $100,000.
Yeah, Auburn's not really had a good runabout with some recent things outside of football. It has nothing to do with football. This guy,
they did have a guy dive into the pool with socks on. I don't know if I trust that player.
You got Tommy Tuberville being Tommy Tuberville. Mm-hmm. You also have my next stupidity. Have you seen their upgrades to Jordan Hare?
Mm-mm.
So they're putting seats on the field, essentially. Let me see. I don't have it pulled up exactly, but I mean, this is it. Like, it's just bar stools and like a couple TVs in one end zone.
Cute.
This one, I mean, they're just like putting up tents for God knows how much money. You're not gonna be able to see the game. Like, if I'm not gonna be able to see the game, make it an experience, man. You know, don't put some bar stools up for me. So that's interesting. So yeah, Auburn's just really just hitting the nail on the head here lately.
Yeah. Couldn't happen to a better guy than
him. They did also, I mean, I guess football related, they hired Joel Osteen to be their head coach. So, but the good news is like all the working women in Auburn have probably been saved recently. So that's a big up.
Yeah. Good for them.
Isn't that what he was doing with his phone numbers originally? Those phone numbers? Just praying and saving?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, he was doing something. Whatever the kids call it these days.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be if I got caught, that's my first move. I was just praying for her, officer.
Yeah. I have it's now Ole Miss linebacker, but it was Clemson linebacker TJ Dudley.
Is this true? Have we gotten any more reports about it?
There's there's a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, he was dismissed for selling pictures of unsuspected teammates in the locker room via OnlyFans.
How much money do you make? That'll determine my guilt or innocence for him.
Does that count as his NIL?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
so give me what's the more deep? I just saw the initial stuff and nothing seemed to be validated. So what's the more what's come out of it since?
Well, as soon as it came out, he entered the transfer portal, obviously.
Okay.
And then he committed to Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. So I just think it has to be true.
Okay. We're just following trails here. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm trying to figure out what pictures, which kind of goes into it. We joke about how if I could make money on OnlyFans, I'd do it. There's a niche for everything. I probably could.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna plan guy strips and we all are in the shower.
That's our content.
I'm just gonna take pictures of y'all and sell them.
All right.
Also,
Airbnb owners already doing that. So,
yeah, and from my experience in locker rooms, the people that are always naked in the locker rooms are the people you probably wouldn't make a lot of money off of.
No. Well, again, there's a niche for everything, so you might.
Yeah, maybe, but
you might.
Yeah, that's. I spent 30 minutes just reading the comments. And it was all these videos of, just TJ Dudley in the locker room. And it was some guy just holding his phone up real close to his chest, taking pictures.
Yeah. That's an interesting move. So.
Yeah. I mean.
I'll say that phones were prevalent when we were of that age, but not as. The pictures that were taken when we were from cell phones when we were in high school, they're all grainy. Couldn't see what was going on.
Well, my thing is okay, so
it's one thing we were saved a little bit.
Yeah, it's one thing to just snap a picture and send it to all your buddies and be
even then, pretty weird.
Yeah, kind of weird, but still it's somebody's ass. Just snap a picture and be oh.
How many pictures of people's ass did you take? What are you telling me right now?
I mean, not like that. No, I'm just talking about Like he was literally like taking all these pictures, probably editing them, and like being like, "Oh yeah, that's a good one."
I wonder if he's got any.
Puts
What
it on
do
this
the
website.
What does the Northwestern OnlyFans look like?
Oh yeah, probably bad.
Yeah. Also, who caught him? How did they find this out?
Maybe somebody heard he was doing this, and Northwestern was like, "Hey, we got to one up them.
Yeah,
we got to do naked center and quarterback exchanges."
Dude, if that was going on at Tennessee, Andy Bowser would pay his entire paycheck to be on that OnlyFans. I mean, that's how it had to be found out, right? Some like super fan subscribed to that page or whatever.
Oh yeah,
and he was like, "Oh, wait a minute, that's our starting left guard."
Yeah, the next spring game they have where they just allow people to bring their own stuff to get signed with autographs is going to be just nude photos of half the football team.
And it's going to unfortunately be 45-year-old white dudes that are doing it.
Yeah. Hey, will you sign this? Yeah, sign it right there.
Right there.
Shaft,
perfect. Perfect. Yeah, that's an interesting story. I hope it's not true because that's really disturbing, but like part of me also, I need it to be true for the story itself.
Yeah. He didn't take losing the Orange Bowl very
Who's
well.
Frank Gore of the week on the Clemson roster? That's what we need to know now. Let's get this guy on the pod. Let's talk.
Mm-hmm. Let's do it. Also, is his OnlyFans still there? I don't know. Also, I have one more. It's Iowa's kicker Aaron Blom. He was accused of underage sports wagering. So he placed 8 bets on Iowa sports, including the under in the 2021 Iowa State game.
Only 8 bets? Because I also saw $4,000.
Dang, he had a heck of money.
Yeah.
So Iowa State's quarterback also did this.
Yeah, Joey said it. I saw a lot of people saying, I mean, who amongst us has not bet on an Iowa under? I mean, honestly. It was a lot.
Right, but the kicker?
Yeah, no. You can't. I've always said it. You can bet on yourself. That's it. You can bet on Iowa to win. That's it. Because there is a video of the quarterback going around, and he's hammered. He's at a bar, and he bets some girl. Like, that's not what got him in trouble. He obviously had an account on DraftKings or FanDuel or something.
Yeah.
But he bets some girl in this video. He can barely talk. He bets her $500 that Iowa will win. I'm good with that. You should be allowed to do
bet
that.
on your team to win. I don't know if you should do under over.
No, never. Especially when the kicker goes out there.
The only time I'll allow is like the Army-Navy game when it's like always goes under. But if those guys are betting the over, they're betting on themselves to score more points. I'll allow that.
All right. Yeah, and they're the most honorable dudes on the planet. So like they're not gonna cheat. They're just trying to score.
Yeah. But betting on the under, I mean those poor kids in that hospital, they want to see that. They don't want to see the under. They want to see the over. So don't
no
bet
one's
on
ever
that.
considered what are we that where the hospital, the placement of that hospital, what we've subjected those kids to. No one's considered that.
Yeah.
What about the kids?
I mean, they would probably like
the fact that the highlight of their game is fans waving to them is a sad sign of what's happening inside that stadium.
Yeah. I'm just thinking like they watch Iowa football so much. If they watch one game of Tennessee's offense, they'd probably just like go into shock.
They are learning about grit because I mean that's grit to just even watch all those games.
Yeah. Joey Dillon, if y'all have any,
I don't think he's going to say it aloud.
Y'all can get in.
Oh, I thought you were like come in and give us your thoughts.
Yeah, he can. Joey, you subscribe to TJ Dudley's OnlyFans, right?
Brutus just came and said he would have bet on the Iowa under 2. So,
no comment.
You did or did not?
Not saying it.
All right. Would you guys? What was the cover y'all would pay to get in Johnny Manziel's money bar that he's making in College Station?
$0.
Yeah.
Unless he was there, then an obscene amount of money.
Yeah. Well, if he's there, you can just sit outside because you know he's going to do something stupid and get arrested or tackled or something outside the bar.
That's a good point. We're going to get a good video of him getting kicked out of his own bar this year, aren't we?
That's going to be awesome.
That will be awesome.
Sick.
He's gonna be like that guy at the I think it was at Kid Rocks that got caught throwing his colostomy bag around. It's gonna be Johnny Manziel.
Just don't let Urban Meyer in there.
Oh, they probably got a special section for him, blondes only.
Oh yeah. Bishop Sycamore, BSI, coming out with a documentary that's gonna be sick. It's not funny. But BSI is a great name for it.
Yeah. Did you see the promo with the coach? He's like, "Did I do anything illegal? Did I do?" And he like goes on this rant. He's like, "Am I in jail?"
Yeah, he was like, "I'm the best liar ever."
Yeah, I think he said he was the most honest liar ever, and I was that doesn't seem right. Yeah. I would love if he was like, "Am I in jail?" and then like the cops come in and put him in handcuffs and take him out.
Definitely a narcissist for sure.
Also, I feel like I don't know what he did that would be illegal necessarily, but I would think like there has to be a level of fraud in there, correct?
Yeah. I mean, like, don't like parents get like truancy? Isn't that a thing? Right. I mean, they didn't go to school.
They didn't go to school, but he was telling them it was a school. I don't know. I feel like somewhere I'm interested to like. I guess I'll learn more about it in this documentary.
Yeah, I want to know. Like, did they just go to a random building and that was like school, and they just watched film?
I don't know. They definitely didn't watch film. I don't know if you watched them play. They definitely didn't watch film.
Also, I feel like he should be on some kind of list. Like, that's pretty predatory.
Yeah,
to lure kids in like that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
They weren't. They weren't kids. They were like 35, but
there were some kids.
Yeah,
but yeah, there was also grown men playing high schoolers.
Which again, there was like a 30-year-old.
Yeah. No, there were some old dudes, but there was a guy that was like a senior in high school that was on the roster. Yeah,
that's
nice. Did he? I know a lot. Like, one of the kids was just like, "Yeah, they told us like we'd get to go to Alabama and different places like that." Did that 30-year-old think he was going to end up at Alabama?
Yeah, probably. I've seen. Yeah. I mean, I won't say that.
Quality control.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if he sold it as like a scam, or if he sold it as like you have one more chance to be seen, like in front of IMG scouts and stuff like that.
This is last chance high school, baby.
Yeah.
I can't wait to compare it to like Firefest, like Billy and whatever this coach's name is. Like, who is worse?
I think Billy's like back out running scams again.
Oh, good for him.
Which that's the funny thing is these dudes get out of jail that are like that and they just run more scams.
Yeah, he was in a podcast the other day and was like, basically just like, not only defending himself, but just saying like that he was smart for out, like he's the one he ended up winning. Like he was trying to explain that he's beating the system.
And he was, I heard him on one podcast. And
I love that. You can't keep him man down.
No, he was like explaining his latest venture, and it just sounded like a scam. I was like, "That you're just running another scam."
I thought he was trying to make it better this time.
Firefest, he's doing Firefest again.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, we should go.
Honestly, we should.
I'm not taking one for the team like that guy did, though.
No, absolutely not. Hey, you'll do anything for some water eventually. Did he do that and then they not get water? Because that would be hilarious. Because wasn't that about getting like massive, like a ton of cases of water? Wasn't that what that was all about?
It was something. I don't remember what exactly it was.
Okay. That dude should get an OnlyFans.
TJ Dudley would be all over that.
All right, that's all I've got.
That's all I've got. What a show.
Yeah, it's been long. It's been fun. We appreciate Paul Shelton again and the hospitality shown to us at South-Doyle. I'll be on campus tomorrow. I'm looking forward to watching the wing tee. Not by South-Doyle.
Yeah, God. Speaking of destroying kids, I mean, running the wing tee.
Yeah.
God.
Not fun.
Also, Hardin Valley, you're a West Knoxville school. You have like 8 billion kids in your. Why are you running the wing tee?
They're not gritty enough for the wing tee. Even if they needed to, they're just not gritty enough. No grit that side of town.
Yeah, there's no more farmland left over there.
No.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Have a good Friday, good weekend. We'll be back on Sunday talking probably more fall camp. Also, LSU, baby. Yeah.
Going to Baton Rouge.
Can't wait. Looking forward to it. That's all we got. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.